KREM 2 News 10 at 10 begins now with Mark Hanrahan and Jeremy Legoo.
Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where we give you more news in less time. Let's get started. For the first time, the Coeur d'Alene Farmers Market allowed alcohol at their weekly event, and that will continue every Wednesday for the rest of the month when the market ends. As KREM 2's Connor McAvoy explains, it's part of a pilot program voted on by City Council last night.
The Fifth Street Farmers Market here in downtown Coeur d'Alene is set to go on for the rest of the month, and due to a City Council decision that happened this week, there is a new thing that attendees can do, and that's drink with a few rules set in place.
We're excited to be able to trial this, and we're all proceeding with caution because we want to maintain that nice environment that Coeur d'Alene is used to having.
Coeur d'Alene City Council voted in favor of open containers at the market. Under the pilot program, beer and wine are only to be sold from 4 to 7 p.m. for attendees who get an ID wristband. Only beer and wine are allowed between Front and Lakeside Avenues downtown.
I've been working really closely with council members and city staff on this project.
Emily Boyd with the Coeur d'Alene Downtown Association says the pilot program is something she's happy to see start for the market, saying there are added measures because of it, like extra gating around each end of the market, extra security at both points of entry, and staying in the perimeter to avoid getting a citation.
Our goal as the Downtown Association is to maintain a family-friendly environment. We don't want it to escalate outside any of that.
But Boyd says Wednesday is proving successful, saying she hopes to see local businesses be able to sell beer and wine besides the association itself after more time passes since the council's decision.
Because this was such a quick turnaround, we just have the basics here this week.
But she hopes vendors in the future will be able to increase their business coming to the market, hoping for more traction, more revenue, and keeping the family-friendly environment Boyle supports each year.
If it is wonderful, we'll hope to carry it on into next season, and if it's not successful, then we'll say that we tried and we'll move forward.
In Coeur d'Alene, Connor McAvoy, KREM 2 News.
All right, switching gears to talk weather. Starting tomorrow afternoon, a heat advisory is set to go in place across parts of the inland Northwest. Chief Meteorologist Jeremy Legoo joining us now in the Weather Center with all the details. Jeremy?
Well, Mark, next few days going to be hot. There's no doubt about that. Our heat advisories run from 1 p.m. tomorrow until 9 p.m. on Saturday. Pretty widespread across the inland Northwest. And that's for temperatures climbing to 95 to 100 degrees in that time. Sunday likely winds up about as warm, so let's break down what that means. Today we topped out around 90. We are already down in the 60s, but even then, 60s is still a little bit warm for this time of year. Overnight, we will fall back into the 50s, even if barely, or quite a bit. Looks like mid 50s in quite a few spots. And that's just basically what we're going to do the next few days, but with few more degrees on it. We still cool off quite nicely every single day. So tomorrow's 93 in Spokane or near 90 in North Idaho. It gives us an overnight low near 60, so it's not that bad, but those afternoon highs are scorching. 93 tomorrow, 95 on Friday, and 96 on Saturday.
Whew, all right, sounds good. Jeremy, thank you very much. We are continuing to track a mass shooting at a high school in Georgia that killed two students and 2 teachers this morning. 9 others were injured. The FBI is now saying they question the suspect, 14-year-old Colt Gray, in connection with school shooting threats last year. Agents say they interviewed Gray and his father but saw no reason to take further action. In the aftermath of today's shooting, students gathered on the football field to reunite with their families.
I heard like 12, 15 different gunshots. It was like boom, boom.
Like the gunshots were so close to me, like my ears started ringing real bad. Like the whole classroom was smoking.
I was in class and we heard shots. The teacher ran, slammed the door, made us all go in the corner.
President Joe Biden issued a statement expressing his condolences and saying, quote, "Students across the country are learning how to duck and cover instead of how to read and write. We cannot continue to accept this as normal," unquote. Now to our night beat with a quick look at today's top stories. The man who opened fire at Freeman High School 7 years ago, killing a student and injuring 3 others, will be resentenced on Friday. Convicted Freeman school shooter Caleb Sharp was sentenced to 40 years to life in prison 2 years ago. However, a Washington State Court of Appeals found that Sharp's sentence was too long and said he needs to be resentenced. Sharp was 15 years old at the time of the shooting. During last week's hearing, both the defense and prosecution said they'll be asking the court for a statutory sentence of 25 years to life. A man is facing charges after police say he drove erratically through a North Spokane parking lot and injured one person. Police say Lonnie Boykin ran into the building, then ran over a woman. Tonight, he is charged with assault and attempted assault for trying to run over several members of the group and felony hit and run. Witness David Cortness says he and his family had to dodge Boykin's car.
He kept backing up, trying to hit one of us, and then smashed right into the restaurant trying to get my friend. When you're aiming a car at somebody and putting it to the floor, you're trying to kill them, if you ask me. I mean, when you try to smash somebody in between a building and a car, you're trying to kill them. And when you run into a group full of people, you're trying to at least hurt somebody.
The motive is not known at this hour. Cortness and his family say they just told him to slow down to protect their children. Boykin will be held in jail on $10,000 bond. An independent investigation found that Spokane Valley Councilman Al Merkel likely violated the Washington State Public Records Act and violated City Council's social media policy. The investigation was launched after a fellow council person accused him of using a personal Nextdoor account for city business. Investigators found this to be true. Merkel will now have 7 business days to appeal the findings. After that appeal period, council will review the report and may take further action. And that was your Night Beat. To learn more about any of these stories, just head to our website, KREM.com. Well, tonight we are learning more about a deadly plane crash over the weekend in a neighborhood just east of Portland. 3 people died, including 2 people on the plane and a resident inside a townhouse that was hit. 2 other townhomes are also damaged. A man inside one of those homes said he came within feet of the plane.
It was just a second or two when I saw the stuff blowing through the room, and I think that was the airplane coming across our deck and back to the house area.
He and his wife are now grieving their lost home, and their neighbor, a third neighbor, and her 7-year-old child were not home at the time of the crash. Amazingly, her 3 cats survived. A missing hiker has been found alive in the North Cascades after surviving in the wilderness for a month. Robert Schock was last seen back on July 31st. Deputies say his car was a few days later at the Hannigan Pass trailhead east of Mount Baker. His dog was also found 8 miles up the trail. Deputies searched that area for weeks on foot and by helicopter. And this past Monday, Schock was found alive and well, they said, in North Cascades National Park. 2 hunters survived a bear attack in eastern Idaho near the Wyoming border. One of them was knocked down and bitten by the bear while they were elk hunting. The hunters ended up shooting and killing the bear. The man who was attacked was taken to a nearby hospital and is expected to be okay. Grizzly bears are protected under state and federal law, but conservation officials determined those hunters acted in self-defense. The results are in again. Dave Upthegrove will be moving on to the general election in the race for Public Lands Commissioner. Officials across Washington spent the last week recounting the votes by hand. Only 51 votes separated Dave Upthegrove and Sue Keel-Peterson after the primaries. After the recount, his margin shrunk to 49 votes. The results were certified by the Washington Secretary of State's office today. And that was your KREM 2 News 10 at 10, where you get more news in less time. But